Hey everyone, welcome to Area 616. November has been a pretty crazy month for Marvel. Within the span of barely 4 weeks, we've gotten Thor Ragnarok, The Punisher, and now Runaways on Hulu. And that's not to mention the fact that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5 goes on December 1st. So it's been a crazy couple weeks for Marvel, but also an anticipated one. This month's releases were, for many, the most exciting of the year. I have personally been excited to see Runaways for a while. I remember reading the Runaways comics for the first time and being so surprised by how good it was. So of course I was excited to see if the show would live up to the comics, and having watched it, I honestly think it did. It honestly might even be better. It has been a couple of days since this came out, so I am going to be slightly more spoilery here, so if you haven't seen it yet and are planning to, then you might want to come back to this one. Runaways is probably the most faithful of Marvel's TV adaptations. I'm so used to seeing things be completely different when they go on their own TV show by now. It's just become a normal part of it. Especially with Marvel Television, because they do have smaller budgets they have to work with, so a lot of the time they have no choice but to change it. But with it being like it, it's so weird to watch a show where most of the cast looks literally exactly like they do in the comics, and the story even follows most of the same beats, at least for a little while. With that said, the changes that are made are pretty big ones, like the addition of a secret sibling of Nico's, who mysteriously died a couple of years ago, and the fact that Molly's parents also died in a fire that is implied to have been started by Tina Minoru. Because of that, Molly now lives with Gert. One other change that is made is that the Pride and the Gibberum are much less secret. People obviously don't know about the darker sides of it, but in the eyes of the public, the Pride is a charity organization and the Church of the Gibberum is a new religious group that it's been helping fund. I really enjoyed how human they made the Pride feel. In the comics, you get the sense that they cared about their children, but they were also all pretty evil bad guys. Here, there's much more regret and uncertainty surrounding what they do, and I'm interested to find out the reason they're doing it. The changes made to the story have also made that a bit more uncertain. I'm honestly not sure how big of an element the Gibberum will ultimately end up being, or if we'll ever really see them at all. But the main cast, the Runaways group, are all really great. They've all really embodied their characters well, not just in looks, but in feel as well. Molly's probably my favorite of the group here, but really it's just because I have no idea what she is. In the comics, she was a mutant. That's how she got her powers. Here, we don't really know, but I wouldn't be surprised if it had something to do with the Gibberum. One element of this show I'm still a little worried about is Old Lace, Gert's eventual pet Velociraptor. We only see her in full for a couple of seconds at the end, but she looks pretty great. I am a bit worried they might lockjaw her, which is to say, keep finding reasons to keep her out of the action, like they have in Inhumans. For example, there, Lockjaw is constantly getting drugged or run over by dirt bikers or whatever to keep him still so he's less expensive to animate. I've heard Old Lace is a mixture of CG and practical effects, so that might help them be able to include her more in the show. We'll see what happens, but she does look pretty great so far. And I love the fact that they decided to make the nose-ringed Velociraptor more scientifically accurate by giving it some feathers too. That was great. Overall, I'm really enjoying this show, and I'm looking forward to seeing more episodes. There's a lot of conflict being set up between Pride members. It's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. And I'm really excited to see the Runaways all well run. Now I want to talk a bit about spoilers, not necessarily for the show, but for the comic. So this could potentially translate for the show as well. But in the comics, a big twist of the book is that there's a mole in the Runaways team, and that it's Alex Wilder who's doing it. So something I'm planning to make a video on someday is speculation on whether or not this might happen in the show. It's a bit too early right now to say, but I'd like to make it in the next couple weeks. But going by the first 3 episodes, it's hard to see a big twist like that by the end. Unlike the comic, Here we follow not just the Runaways but the Pride pretty closely. And so far, Alex seems pretty against what they're doing, even behind closed doors. So it's just hard to see them making that big of a twist by this season's end. So I'd personally say right now that if Alex does become a mole for the Pride, I think it'll be a slow, over the course of many episodes turn. Potentially even going into future seasons. This show is just too interested with the workings and motives of each of these characters for them to just pull the rug out with Alex without showing us how he got down that path. Here, Alex seems to care much more about the others than he does in the comics. If I remember correctly, in the comics, he wasn't excited about their get-together at all. Whereas here, he's the one who's planning it. So it's hard to see him just turning around and betraying them all. Honestly, if anyone's the mole, it'd be Carolina. She's so devoted to the Church of Giverum that it wouldn't be too hard to see her trusting them over the other Runaways. But what do you guys think? Do you think Alex will go to the dark side? I really enjoyed the first couple of episodes, and I honestly may just do an episode by episode review like I did with Legion, if you guys want. Let me know if you do or don't in the comments below. And let me know what you thought of Runaways if you've seen it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.